Hello, Bill.
Yeah.
Let me do some of those.
What's that?
I am claiming the host. Hooray.
Oh, good. I'm just finishing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
All right. Hooray. And I've made Jim the co-host.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Life is good. All right. I'm following all of
Jim.
Sherry's instructions. So
Yeah,
how are you?
you're a natural.
Oh yeah, incredibly. Oh my gosh. How are you both?
Done with the heat.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to break tomorrow.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And
Seriously.
between the heat and I did the Pan Mass Challenge this weekend, and it was, I don't know what the heat index, I think they said it was like 102 or 105 on Saturday, and it was just miserable, but it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
They're right. I mean, I was with a team with a mixed group of riders, so we it wasn't painful, but it was long. Yeah, we ended up, so this is our third year as a team doing it, and we just went over $30,000 in funds raised, so we're really excited for the Dana-Farber Jimmy Fund.
No, that's
Good for you
fantastic.
guys. Yeah, obviously, that's a major milestone, hitting 30K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, wow, we could do this. Right.
That's impressive. That's awesome. Lots of good stuff is happening. All right.
Yep.
All right. Next little thing I have to do is click on live transcript.
I'm just looking at the paperwork that was dropped off today.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that concerns us. Residential.
Yeah.
There was another package dropped off today.
Yeah, it was just in the mailbox. So
Oh, really? All right. I'm
yeah,
gonna run down and grab that.
right, because I don't think Susan's here tonight. Is that correct?
No, I thought she wasn't here next meeting.
Okay.
So, but I will be right back.
Okay.
To check my mail.
You got 1 minute.
I'll be woohoo.
Yeah, the packet is one. I'm looking. It is residential.
This isn't the
addition.
packet with the multifamily in
Nope.
on Main Street, is it?
No, this is residential. Yeah. Susan's texting. Okay. Yeah, this is what came today is just one residential for 123 Pleasant Street, and it's application for a variance in addition to an existing two-family dwelling. So there's nothing that I see in this that would apply, but we can bring that up under items not anticipated.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Matt. Hi,
Hello,
Megan.
Matt.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
And Gal.
Très bien. All right. I think we're all here. So I think Aaron will be joining us, but I'm just presuming. So let me call our meeting to order. And I don't think I need to read the intro paragraph about the open meeting law and being available for doing what we can to make access, ADA access. But I will say we do have our town's disability coordinator, William Renault, and we will make every effort to make planning board meetings accessible. So let me call us to order and do a quick roll call. Megan Minnisali,
Here.
Matt Lowry,
Here.
Jim Hogan,
Here.
and Bill Spalding.
Here.
And that's and myself, Theo Noel, I'm here. The second item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Are there any comments? No. All right. Is there a motion to accept?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from, was it July? We skipped one, July 12th,
Yes, July 12th.
July 12th, 2022.
All right, is there a second?
I will second.
All right. All right, and let's do our vote. Megan?
Yes.
Very good. So you're on the screen. Matt Lowry?
Abstain. I was not here at that
That's
meeting.
right. Jim Hogan?
Yes.
Yes, and Bill Spalding?
Yes.
And myself, yes, so terrific. All right, so the minutes are approved. Before we get into the third item on our agenda, I have a couple procedural questions to ask regarding A&Rs in general. We clarified that the 21-day clock doesn't start until we actually receive the A&R request in a formal planning board meeting. And I was looking for some more information in the A&R handbook. Is there a process or any discussion about a lockout period if we don't accept the A&R as presented?
Yeah, the law says you'll act on it forthright, so there really isn't a 21-day.
Yeah.
21 days is to notify the town clerk if we reject it.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always said, if we're gonna accept the plan for reviewed and potential endorsement, that it should meet our regulations or we reject it. So
Yeah.
there really is no provisions for continuations or anything like that.
Yeah.
We have done that in the past. We really shouldn't,
Mhm.
but that's what the law says.
But if we were to reject it, does that bar the applicant from coming back for a certain period of time?
No. They
Okay.
need to refile.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Meaning they'd have to refile the filing fee and the A&R and the Form A again.
Mhm.
So that's why you're better off just saying, if it's not going to pass, we should just not be reviewing it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, then with that, I guess I have to, do we have any ability to waive the filing fee? Should we reject it tonight, and then should they resubmit?
I suppose we could, but why would we?
Fair, I agree with that.
Yeah. We have waived the filing fee once, but
Yeah.
that was because we accepted an A&R. But then land court made changes to it.
Yeah.
So on no fault of the applicant, they had to make changes. So in that point, in that case, we
Right.
waived the filing fee.
Mhm. All right.
But, you know, if the plan's not prepared to our standards and the applicant believes it does and it doesn't, then, you know,
Right, right. That really does fall on the applicant. No, I agree with that. So I think that does mean we have to proceed and sort of receive the consolidation plan for 514 Water Street. With the acknowledgement that if we find it doesn't meet the A&R standards, that the applicant has to refile and pay the fee a second time. All right. With that, the surveyor, Mr. Farrell, is present. I did not receive a PDF version of the plan. That's one of the missing pieces procedurally. I think by way of introduction, we have three key parameters when we review A&Rs. You know, A, is it a qualified way? B, is there adequate frontage? And C, is there vital access? And on top of that, you know, we do have our process and form checklist that we do expect applicants to adhere to. I can. Mr. Farrell can unmute and turn his camera on, and if he's got a PDF of the site plan, then we can review it. But I will.
I've got a PDF if you want to. I can share my screen and show that.
Okay, all right. Let's do that then. And we do also acknowledge that yeah, A&Rs do not require formal public hearings. So where you have to open it up to the public. So Matt, you share your screen and
Yeah, let me get that pulled up again. Let's see. You need to enable screen sharing.
You should be able to share your screen right now.
yeah. All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right, can you see that? Or?
Yes, yes.
All right.
I have some sort of basic kind of questions that really I think speak to my sort of my newness to the planning board and formal site plan review. But I'm happy to defer those to everyone else if you have any observation or comments. I will ask my basic question. I saw that the surveyor was named, but I didn't see the applicant being named on it. I wondered if this didn't meet our A&R standards because it doesn't show the distance to the next intersection. And I also was confused about the actual lot that was being merged, that the lot 14. I didn't really see how that was delineated. And that very well could be my lack of full familiarity, if that's anything that folks want to respond to.
I guess the best thing is to have the applicant explain the plan and walk us through it.
All right, that sounds good. All right. I think I've unmuted Mr. Farrell. Yeah. All right.
Yes, this is Ed Farrell.
Right.
I'm kind of new with the Zoom stuff, so I don't know how to get my camera up or anything else.
All right. There is a little video camera in the bottom left of your Zoom screen. Would you walk us through the plan, explaining what's being requested?
Basically what he's doing is he's trying to combine lot 14, which is registered land, with other land of 514. It's kind of messy because book 35715, page 500 refers to a plan that's not registered. So that little piece in back of 520 got conveyed out per this D 35715. I'm trying to consolidate that with 514 and the other land of Mary Doherty into one lot having 46,686.
Okay.
So it's going to be one buildable lot.
Okay. Can you explain where lot 14 is and what is it?
It's a piece of registered land that was part of lot 13. I can delineate it on another print if you'd like. I probably should have done that, but I did not do that. It's well, actually it is. It's south 11, 29, 50, 218, 65 feet. Then it goes over 24 feet, comes up 48, up 167, 31, and over 658, 6.58 feet. That's lot 14.
Okay. All right. All right, that, for me, that's helpful. Who's the applicant?
The Doherty nominee trust number 2,
Okay.
the owner of lot 1.
All right. Can you explain the sewer easement and the way?
The sewer easement is, I'm assuming from the, it's an easement for the town to get sewer from Water Street up to Scott Lane. Or these back lots. I'm not sure. I mean,
Right. So, but.
and the way is a way to get up to that back lot also, the Caderas lot.
Okay, and that's the way that that gets access to the number
real
514.
lots, which
Yeah.
is shown on the land court plan.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. But obviously that's not is that a paper street? Is that a private way?
It's a private way as far as I know.
Okay. But that also provides the access to the house number 514.
Correct.
It looks on Google like a pretty unfinished way.
Yeah, I think it's only a dirt way, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah. So.
So the land's all in one ownership, and so they're effectively combined anyways. Why are you doing a plan? What's the purpose of doing a consolidation plan?
Because there was a little, as I said, this book 357515 refers to a plan, and it's nowhere to be found. So I'm trying to get this little dotted line into lot 1 by putting it on a plan. Basically, that's the only reason I'm doing this plan.
Okay. Is the lot 14 registered land owned by the Doherty Trust?
Yes,
Okay.
So basically, you're just trying to show what lot 44AA is, and that 44AA, since it doesn't have a plan, it wasn't actually ever filed.
right. It's just separated by a deed.
Yeah, so you want to show that lot 44AA, 44CA, and lot 14 are all going to be combined basically combined. You actually, unless you deregister 14, it's always going to be its own lot.
Correct.
You're going to eliminate the lot lines between 44AA and 44CA, correct?
Correct.
All right. I mean, it may make more sense just to put it on the plan. The whole reason of why you're doing this is, which is why, we've written into our subdivision rules and regulations to actually just put the purpose of the plan on there. So people, I mean, I went through this. I found out that's what the issue was, is that this plan was never recorded.
Mhm.
But looking at the plan, a layperson does not know why this is being done. So we've actually looked into, making sure that the plans that we endorse, when people pick them up, they know exactly what the purpose is.
Okay. I can add that.
Yeah, so that would be right, really explaining things in the note.
Right, no, instead, just include lot 44AA to be combined also.
Yeah, I mean, I think even noting, to consolidate lot 14. So that I think the effect is that make the note a lot more simple and transparent to really explain everything.
Yep, I can do that.
Right.
Anything else you would like done?
this is sort of an open question from me to the rest of the planning board. The dirt way, is
Mhm.
that a problem?
Well, I can't remove it because it's shown on a land court plan, so
No, is that, I'm being a little too literal, but being a housing policy and process guy, is that vital access, or I'm overreading?
no, he has 141 feet of frontage. He can put a
Oh,
driveway
yeah.
anywhere in there.
All right, but there is no driveway. And there hasn't
Just
been
the
a driveway.
dirt drive up to the garage and up to the back lots, but
All right.
I'm assuming they're gonna tear down that garage in that 514 and put up another house. That's what I'm assuming eventually.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So I think the takeaway is you're going to refile with a much more detailed note, and we can separately cross I's and cross your T's and dot your I's to make sure that you're fulfilling all the aspects of the our A&R standards, just for safekeeping. Does anybody else have anything to add? No.
Needs to show setbacks to the structures as required. Really should have the overall lot should be bold so people know what the exact lot is. So, and yeah, we do have a requirement distance to the closest street, so that should probably be on there too.
Mhm.
You mean to Scott Street? Scott Lane?
If that's the closest
That's
intersecting
the,
street,
according to the locust map, that's the closest one.
There's no scale, however.
The locust map?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't read in your regs that you needed a scaled locust map.
No. So, but the plan shall provide sufficient dimensions to the nearest intersecting street to properly show the subject parcel's location.
I can add that.
Okay. Did you have all the monuments for lot one?
Do I have all the monuments for lot one? I have set some stuff out there. I can add that to the plan. Now, do you require it on every corner or?
we actually don't require
Okay.
that you set any of the monumentation. You just need to have enough for it to be reproducible. So if you
Well,
found monumentation out there, you
this-
just need to show it, which it appears.
Which I do, stonebound, found and held,
Yep.
center of stonebound found, CB with drill hole found and held, CB with drill hole found and held. I mean, there's plenty of monumentation on this.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as I can see, I have to revise note and add a distance from the stonebound drill hole to Scott Lane.
You're missing the setbacks and the
Even if they're
Fine.
gonna be torn down,
Correct, even if they're to be torn
Okay.
down.
that's
Because-
fine, that's fine. That's not a problem to put them on.
all right.
On every structure, even though it's not locus? Or just the locust structures?
Just the locust structures.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
All right. We'll leave it to you to update this and then refile.
So I have to put in a new filing fee and everything, or?
Um, The,
Well, Theo, the way we can either say we accepted it for review and
Mhm.
either we approve it or we don't approve it, or we can just say we didn't accept it for review. And we gave him a courtesy discussion at this point, which normally we don't do, but we can make an exception at this point. So I think the best thing to do is just say we did not accept it for review. And and he will take it back and fix it, and hopefully next time it's submitted, it'll meet our standards, and we'll go forward at that point.
Yeah.
So there's no clock running, there's no, we did not accept this, so if in 21 days, he can't go get a constructive approval because we're saying we did not accept this for review.
all right. Matt, I appreciate that clarification. That's sort of the procedural step I wanted to begin with. So thank you. All right.
I mean, that, or if the applicant really wants to go forward with it, he can do that too. Obviously, he's gonna get we won't be endorsing it tonight, and we'd have to file with the town clerk the reasons why we didn't do that. So,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say if he wants to file it for us to review, we can, but
Mhm.
obviously with the discussion we just had, it probably would not go his way.
Okay, so when is the next planning board meeting that I could get on?
Our schedule, we meet every second and fourth Tuesdays of every month. Our next meeting is August 23rd or September 13th.
I mean, I'll have this revised in a couple of days, so
Okay.
it's not. So I'll just. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's revise it and just double check your work, and then we'll leave it up to you when you want to bring it back.
Okay,
Theo,
thank you.
did you get a Form A also?
Yeah, I submitted one.
All right. I am. So for the record, I was on vacation and I have not, all I've received is the paper plan, not a PDF. I do not know if we've received the other documentation.
Well, I
so-
sent it all to the planning board staff member that asked me to send it. I sent her a PDF. The Form As I dropped off along with the check.
So for our next meeting, just make sure that there's PDFs of this plan, the actual plan we're gonna see, and the Form A. So we can review it ahead of time and make sure there's no issues.
Okay, no problem. Take care of it.
Very good. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
Guys.
Carroll. All right. All right. And thanks to Matt and everyone for stepping through that. That's a good review. And apologize for not doing that sort of in between the meetings and to burn up some time with you all tonight. So moving on to item 4. I think we're going to turn it over to Bill. I think we're close to finalizing our street name change procedures, right? But
Sorry, I was on mute.
Sure.
Trying to find the button. So yes, I think after Mr. Mullins' review and our board quickly reviewed it in the last meeting, there are a couple notes to that the board, I think we're gonna look at comments if anything wanted to change. I know the length of characters came up as a 14 to 20. A filing fee that I would speak with the town clerk to find out the town administration costs and what that would be. And how the public hearing would work, meaning town recipient versus the property, like how that, what the list would be, how we want to name it. I think there was still some question about the correct words for, I'm sorry, town resident versus property owner and how we wanted to make that work. And those were the three items that I was left with. And I don't know, Theo or Jim or Megan, if there was anything I missed, let me know.
I think that is conforms with my recollection of the state of play.
Okay. So with that, if we are looking at the application process, the fee is left to fill in here, what that would be. That character, if the board is in agreement, I would like to change this to 14 to 20, if that's fine. Do we want to
think
pick
that-
a number?
I say I would advocate we pick a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is 20 fine, or do we want to pick a range between, pick a number, anything between 14 and 20?
So I'm sorry, since I wasn't part of this last discussion, what are we talking about here?
The street name changes,
Yeah,
and I think this was sent out to all board members. We did review. This was the final draft that was reviewed and turned into bylaw ease by town council, Mr. Mullen. And we reviewed it in our last meeting, and the couple questions that came up were how many characters? And we thought we would wait till we had a full board to go through the final discussion on this meeting tonight. And the fee of, which is something I still need to get. And the other item on there was the words about town recipient, town resident versus property owner, and how we felt as a board to identify the abutters or who would be part of this notified for the public hearing. That there is a street name change.
all right, so for the amount of characters, is that something that we're getting direction from the DPW of what they normally can do with the signs they have, or are we just coming up with that?
We're coming up with that through the research that we had before, where in prior meetings. So no, it wasn't, I did not run this by the DPW, but I can if that's necessary.
Well, I would just say, if they have a limit of fewer, and we're saying gonna put more on there, or if they can do more and it's not a problem, I think whatever direction they give us on that, I think we should take, since they're actually construct the signs right now.
Okay,
Could we write no longer than 20 characters or as determined by the Department of Public Works?
no, we can, but I think we should be clear, and part of it is, and I'm looking back in my messages, because there was something I did have in a message. No, from DPW. I have a cost. I don't have a number of characters. So Yeah, let me follow up with the DPW.
I have also noticed that they're changing the signs. So they used to have the town symbol on there. Now they're doing a it looks like a gazebo.
Well, I believe it's what's on the town site as the logo, which has like, yeah, that's something that I noticed when they did off of press. What was the one, Clyde?
Clyde Court, yeah.
I noticed on those signs. Those were the first ones I noticed.
So I think we can, isn't this something that the proposed street names shall conform to the DPW standard number of characters?
Right, instead of putting a number in there, we had discussed that. Should it just be, so it doesn't add a conflict, meaning if the DPW finds out, to your point, Matt, that they having a symbol of the town, like an icon there, that now it's only really 18 characters they can have.
Yeah.
So that's something that we don't want contradiction in another bylaw. So if it does propose street name shall conform to the,
Standard number of characters.
fingers are done.
Oh, I hear you.
So proposed street names shall be limited to.
Yeah.
Proposed street name characters. So this is like where the whole wording and we got bogged down before.
Yeah.
So proposed street names shall conform to DPW standards. And is that like just enough with a, we're done? Because the whole punctuation and all that, is it just proposed street name shall conform to DPW standards?
Or standard character count, just so we don't potentially
Yeah.
say, we put a couple lines above that you should not do this, but if we say then conform to DPW standards and they have a different standard, it will be a little confusing.
Yeah. That certainly works for me. I- in terms of the application fee. Well, before we move that, does that satisfy everybody in terms of the character count? Is there any other? Okay.
Yeah, and again, we're getting to a baseline. Once we hear from other people, this whole thing could change anyway, so.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as we have something that we're generally satisfied with. So just my thing is, if, once we bring this to a public hearing, and if we and the board start changing things, it's gonna look like that we did not actually do our work, so.
Yeah.
Right.
This little stuff that we're gonna just, we want to make sure that amongst us, we're fine with it. So as we roll it out, if 20 other people have a better idea, obviously we'll go with that, so.
I agreed, and I think we're at that point at the last meeting. I think we all felt we were at 95% there. So the filing fee and the last part of it that we had questions on in the last meeting was this verbiage, and that phrase seemed to cover our intentions. Are we all good with that?
I still question for residents, how do you verify that they receive it? You know what I mean? I mean, so because we have, like, we can pull up a certified abutters list. But do we, how do you actually get a list of residents on that street in a way such that's conducive? If it's a 10-person street or less, it's easy enough, right? You go knock on the door. But if this is a large street with like up an apartment block, for example, how do you verify that whatever that certified list of residents is?
Right, okay, I'm just closing another window. I think that's what the clerk does. And that's why there's a fee for the town clerk for filing and verifying the abutters.
Can it be a list of abutting owners to be certified by the town clerk? Or is that, I'm getting a little. I thought it was just certified abutters.
Well, that's what we had an issue with, was this would not just, so the owner versus the resident. So if a resident is living on a street next to, or I'm sorry, on this street or way that will be renamed.
Yeah.
They are fully, they have to change a lot of stuff. So I believe they need to be notified, which is why we had the residents added to it.
Okay. I'm not, I think I'm good with what we've got then. I think we're,
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on? And then the action by town council? I mean, this was pretty much straightforward and added by Mr. Mullen as part of the, if the town council declines to make the name change, it shall so inform the applicant and the town clerk. That was what we made sure that it was added to it. If the town council approves the name change, in addition to notifying the applicant and the town clerk, it shall request payment from the applicant to cover the cost of changing and installing all applicable signage and sending notice of the change by certified mail, return receipt requested to all persons residing on the affected street or owning property thereon. So I feel in the words, this covers and is the same as what we're asking for notification for the hearing. Do you all agree?
yes.
Okay, because I've been looking at these words a little too long. And I really appreciate the quickness and turnaround by Tom Mullen. I can't believe how responsive and quick this was, and to take all the words and important pieces that we had in it and put it into this language was so helpful.
What you're saying, you don't speak bylaw?
I have a hard time reading bylaw. It's like one of those things I feel like I need to read about 6 times and then make notes. And I do make bullet points because to me, bullet points just make sense. Like we started this whole journey. So yes. So what's left for me for homework is to get this filing fee. Meaning I know it's already like $135 per sign by the DPW. Thank you, Susan. And I think the rest of what the town clerk has to do, will have to do for processing. So I'll find that out.
Yeah. So one of the original sort of elements that when we looked at others was, right, a majority of abutters, et cetera, certified mail, all that stuff.
Mhm.
That's not, Tom Mullen took that, sort of removed that from this, right? Because that's,
Yes. Yeah.
that's part of our sort of procedural review process. Right.
Right, and right, good point. And I think as a board, were we fine with that?
I think so, because we really were getting sort of really twisted and turned about how do you schedule the public hearing? How do you review it? So
Right. Well, we did like the whole this many, meaning yeah, more than 75
yeah,
percent really held it. But with this action by town council,
Mhm.
it changed that thought for me, where I don't know, with thinking about how this process is going to happen, it seemed to be getting very convoluted.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
I don't know. To Matt's point earlier, it doesn't mean that during these hearings, we can't bring that up as a talking point with the public. And if it does make its way back in, then it does.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think this is a really good base to start with, so we could schedule our own planning board hearing, I'm sorry, public forum, public forum, correct? To review this bylaw. But like now, if to put this into action, we would need to, if I remember correctly, notify town council. Town council will then, with this bylaw, turn it back to us so we can then set a meeting for public hearings, and we have to put notices out for that. And then after that period of probably 2 public meetings, we like to do at least 2. Then we could give our bylaw back to the town council with an endorsement or not to go to town meeting. Matt, did I get that all correct?
Yeah, so we do the form first, so we can tweak things. Hopefully have it set enough to go to town council, because once they certify it, the wording exactly as we send it is going to show up on the warrant. So any changes after that would have to be made on the floor of town meeting, which we all know is oh so pleasant.
Right. But that is until after our public hearings and then our final endorsement back to town council, correct?
No, when we have an actual public hearing,
Mhm.
that's to discuss the text that will be on, I believe, the town warrant. So whatever the town council approves for a public hearing is what's going to be on the warrant. So that's why we
Okay.
have a forum first, so we can hopefully, make sure that everyone who wants to have a say in actually drafting this
Mhm.
gets a say, and not just at town meeting.
All right, maybe I was just not being clear. In this process, once we have the public input and then we ship it off to town council, that's the final that goes to town warrant.
I
Not
believe
the
so.
original, yeah, not the original. We send it to town council so they can say, okay, yes, please move forward with public comments, hearing. And then we have those 2 public hearings. And then that final wording that goes to, of course, we would talk to Tom Mullen again. That final goes to town council, which then ends up on the town warrant for meeting. Okay.
I don't know. No, I think once we send it to town council and they approve it to, to go forward,
Mhm.
it's a public hearing on what the text is going to be. That is the text that's going to be on the warrant. That's what I believe.
Hmm, okay,
So
I'll ask Mr. Mullen.
just may want to
Because,
double check
um,
that.
Right, let's double check because, okay,
Which is why we kind of want to tweak it the most after a public forum
okay,
and hopefully have town council's input on it too before then, just so it doesn't get rewritten too much and then has to all be edited on the floor of town meeting.
agreed. Okay. All right, I don't have any other comments. I have my homework. Fees from the town clerk and process question for Mr. Mullen.
Um, That's great. I am, I'm gonna, as I tried to spell out this process, so let me email that to you and you can correct me. If I'm
Yep.
wrong. So, all right. That's great. Fantastic. Well, this is great. Any other comments? Jim, Megan? Matt? Okay. And so, trying to get back to the agenda. The fifth item on the agenda is subdivision rules and regulations changes. I'm gonna open the door up to Matt if there's.
So I have been continually to slowly chip away at that.
Yeah.
I really haven't had enough time to dedicate a good chunk of time to go through it that I need to before I bring it back here. So
Right.
I think I'm gonna have to continue to pass on this until I
Sure.
get a little more time to dedicate to it.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. It's just a lot going on right now.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
I very much understand. I will offer to help if you want to send me a homework assignment. I'm happy to try to pick up some of that.
If you're good at formatting things, that would be good. My Word document right now is a mess and I cannot for some reason get it to format correctly. So hopefully when I get it to that point, maybe you can align it with columns and stuff like that better than I can, because for some reason I've got like pages in between certain sections and I have no idea why. So
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll take the nod and I'll go do some learning before you give me my homework so I can make sure
All
I'm
right.
better at it. So. Okay, all right. Well, thank you. The last item is items not anticipated by the chair. So I will open that up to all of y'all. I wrote down a number of different notes just to flag for each of us. Was hoping that Aaron would be on the call today. Regarding the master plan, Aaron updated town council at their meeting on August 1st, giving a summary of where we're at to date. And they had some good process questions, and they were certainly complimentary of the public process. And I think, Ann Danahy is our council liaison, and she was certainly positive. I think we definitely are acknowledging that it would be really nice to have an in-person forum, just because that can tend to be a little more engaging. But that's sort of a recognition of where we're at. And that we certainly want to continue to do more to increase public participation. And she discussed sort of the, it's not fully spec'd out in terms of deliverable dates and things like that. The process after the public meetings and the surveys are concluded to deliver a draft plan to the planning board and town council. But that is expected to be first quarter or a little bit in the second quarter next year. So, and something I realized that I forgot to do in the July 12th meeting, we had received a suggestion to look at Linfield's tree preservation bylaw. And I was going to send out that link, so I will do that. That's just good food for thought and something to consider as we go forward. And that did sort of remind me that it's still on our wish list to have some sort of a joint meeting or with Concom and ZBA at some point. I think that's something that we've talked about in the past. We've received a bunch of things from the ZBA, including today, and that's where we started this meeting tonight. We received copies of 4 ZBA decisions, and we've received a request for comment on 2 additions, and then the third would be a special permit and site plan approval for the 20-unit mid-rise mixed-use apartment building at 369 Main Street. So was wondering if folks had any comments on any of those, and okay. So not seeing any, and we also received some documents today that have a September 14th due date. I have not looked at them, but have others.
I didn't even know they arrived yet, so
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Checked yet. So
All right.
I
So we'll come-
did for the Main Street project, that 20-unit one. I don't know what they're proposing for the actual existing bank building, but it looks like all the parking spaces in the back are all going to be used for residential. So basically, it's a net loss for business parking downtown, which unfortunately for a nice building like that to strip away and not have any capacity to have something in there that's going to benefit the town is not pleasant. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone wants to, we want to say anything about that or just let it go. And I'm sure there's going to be enough townspeople that are on the same train of thought that, in order to develop that building, the existing bank building properly into a viable commercial building, you need to have some parking down there, either for employees or for patrons.
Yeah. It has 30 spots. Right, all of which are residential. No, it's, I think that's precisely what we should, that's part of our role.
I also had, unrelated to the parking issue, I had a question as it relates to this discrepancies between the site plan compiled by the civil engineer and the architect, as it relates specifically to trash location, where the architect is showing parking, the civil engineer is showing the trash, as well as a transformer pad in the existing right of way. So it appeared as if there was some discrepancies as it relates to that. Additionally, there was no note on these plans as it relates to how utilities are serving the project. But I would expect and would hope that the ZBA would comment as it relates to, obviously any work within the street, restoration clauses as it relates to the public way. But specifically for the purposes of our board, it didn't appear to me as if there was any drainage infrastructure envisioned in this plan. Maybe I'm missing it, but it didn't appear as if there was anything on there. So I think that would be an appropriate thing for us to comment on as a board as it relates to drainage and the discrepancies, especially because it would impact a pair of the parking spaces as envisioned in the architectural plan.
So Jim, are you anticipating issues with the location of a transformer on a building? That's amazing, isn't it? Because that happens on every project where the electric company comes in at the last minute and says, I'm going to put my transformer there, and it's twice as big as you had thought. So
100%. It's just more of on the civil plan, it's literally plopped in the middle of the existing right of way. So planning on putting, I hear what you're saying, right? But planning on putting it in the middle of a right of way seems like it's like asking for trouble as a baseline. And then on top of that, it's probably going to be twice as big as it's supposed to be. Plus, it's also supposed to be parking space.
Yeah. This is the underground transformer vault. Yeah.
No, if you go on the site layout plan on C2, there's a proposed 81 by 64 transformer pad that is directly in the way that, or the old way that's established by document 47-950 between the proposed building and the existing 3-story concrete building.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Additionally, the proposed dumpster and recycling on the C plan are supposed to be 2 parking spaces according to the architectural plan. Where the trash is shown on the architectural plan, I'm not convinced I understand how that would be serviceable.
Excellent. Yeah. Since I feel like I took some time from y'all this evening to talk about our complementary consideration of 514 water, I'm happy to take a stab at drafting this and sending it around. Jim and Matt to separately to double check the language, and then we could send it along. Any other considerations? So we got parking, drainage, trash location. And Jim, you had, what was the middle one?
Jim, you're muted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was parking, drainage, transformer pad location in the middle of the way, and then serviceability of the trash.
Right.
And frankly, just discrepancies between the civil and the architectural plan.
Yeah. Serviceability. could do that tonight, and I will send it along. And procedurally, can it be emailed to the ZBA, or does it have to be? All right, Bill's nodding yes.
It can be emailed, and past memos such as this, the board has voted to allow one representative of the board to draft and prepare or review with the chair, in this case you,
All right,
to send it off to the ZBA attention to their chair, David Hatfield.
okay.
I could share with you, if you don't have the most recent letter that was drafted as a form, if you'd like.
That would certainly be helpful. All right,
And I think that was Lowell Street, that Four Corners, right, for the proposed gas station that with the drive-through, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you just send it to Dave and CC Dale, even if you sent it the night before, he's pretty good about seeing that and acknowledging it, so.
okay, all right. Thank you. I'll ask for a motion. Can I make a motion and then have it seconded? That the planning board approve that I will draft a letter and edit it and get the planning board's your approval to send it to the ZBA. It's a poorly articulated motion.
Well, I don't think you can get our approval. We could, I'll make a motion that the chair pens a letter to the ZBA on our concerns about the proposed project on, I forget what number, Main Street.
369 to 371 Main Street.
And that he review with a few other members prior to sending.
Second.
Yep. I think that's still Megan's job too. I believe.
Yeah, definitely send it to Megan and she can proofread it in like 3 seconds. And
That's excellent. All right. All right. Not wanting to overstep Megan, but also to respect everyone's.
No, I'm happy to. It's basically what I do all day, so feel free.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. All right, so a motion and a second. Vote. Jim Hogan.
Yes.
All right, Matt Lowry.
yes,
Megan Minnesota.
Yes.
All right, Bill Spalding.
Yes.
And myself, Theo Knoll, yes. All right. Great. So that's I don't know, the other things just I wanted to wave the flag on where Thursday, August 11th is a big day of meetings with the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Environmental Sustainability Committee, and Conservation Commission. People are hard at work and doing good stuff, so encourage folks to attend as possible. I don't know, I'd open it up to any other comments. We did receive the bike and pedestrian plan, and there's a very successful open streets event after our last meeting. Bill Bill, you're muted. If there's anything you wanted to say to those?
No, I'm good. It was a success. We're looking at more, and if there was a good follow-up at the last town council meeting. Counselor Julie Smith Galvin gave a quick recap and expectations and how we'd like to plan one for the fall, the open streets, safe streets. And then pick it back up again in the springtime and possibly have one a month. It went really well. I think it was a good positive start.
That's true. I enjoyed it, but it was really hot. So, but it was great. Fantastic. Does anybody have anything else for the meeting? Very good. Well, I'd like a motion to adjourn in a second so I can start working on this letter.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right. And all in favor? Bill Spalding,
Yes.
Megan, myself,
Yes.
Matt Lauer,
Yes.
Jim Hogan,
Yes.
and myself, yes. All right. So thank you all very much. I really do appreciate it. Yeah. I guess we can say, Susan, have a great vacation at the next week.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
All right.
Theo. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Bye, everybody.